Years ago, if someone became chemically dependent, they were hidden from the rest of the world by the family. They were kind of abandoned because there was no hope. Now there is. We know for a fact that people recover. And they recover based on 4 factors: biological factors, psychological factors, social factors, and spiritual factors. But you've got to have all 4 of those working for you in a treatment program.
There's always faith and hope. Faith and hope.
The journey from faith to hope to healing takes us to unexpected places in unexpected ways. O'Brien House has been giving hope and healing by saving lives and families from addiction since 1971. This is the story of 2 such lives.
Spent most of my time with friends, family. It was a small town, less than 1,500.
I definitely remember great loving moments, and then there was also some really hardship times through my childhood.
My parents were always loving and supportive.
We all seemed to have a sense of humor, always had laughter in our family.
I had a very enjoyable childhood.
Between the age of 13 and 15, my mother's drinking became more and more.
That summer, a lot of things changed for me. On August 2nd of 1987, about a month before I was headed off to Louisiana Tech, my mom passed away.
And then we started actually seeing the physical abuse of my father hitting, my mother. So absolutely, that became rocky, and our family was not as stable as it was.
Starting my freshman year, going through Rush, going into a fraternity, starting new classes, first time really away from home. With that in the back of your mind was kind of overwhelming almost at first.
I was pregnant, and so we got married, and that's when I was right at 16 years old. Then baby after baby, and quickly, when I was 21, I had 5 children.
By the time I was done with my 4 years of college, I was looking around and I had 1 more year to go, and I just did not want to go back. I made the decision, which I had known for a while, that I wanted to serve my country. I went ahead and joined the Air Force.
Every single night I had to take a Xanax or a Valium to go to sleep. At the time, it was just what I needed. It helped me sleep.
It was a beautiful assignment. It was during this time that I also got married for the first time.
But looking back on it now, especially where I am, was it the right thing? Absolutely not.
On New Year's Day of 2000, she comes running in and says, "It's official, I'm pregnant." And that was probably the happiest day of my life.
I definitely seen where my husband was completely out of control. He was already 150 miles an hour without drugs. I've never seen anyone like that.
All I could think about was, here I am, leaving a wife and a daughter in North Dakota in minus 50-degree weather to be alone, and I have to go all the way to Korea, and I'm going to be there for 8 months. I just started withdrawing completely. There was so much guilt about not being there that I started just shutting the rest of the world out. I wanted to forget about being guilty, and the easiest way to do that was to self-medicate. It got to the point where I could not sleep without getting something in my system.
I was one of the types that could take it or leave it. However, after my husband passed away, and to this day that's a mystery I can never answer, other than saying I just didn't want to feel every emotion that I was feeling, that's when I started dampering. Instead of me controlling a drug, definitely drugs were controlling me way out of hand. They had a grip on me like nothing else had a grip on me in my life.
The worst was still a long time coming. I guess by about 2004, I'd really just progressed into a full-blown alcoholic by that point.
That's all I knew was to be a wife since I was 15. All my children were grown and kind of gone, and that's all I knew was to be a mother and, you know, to be something, a beauty queen, a spokesperson. And it was like I was trying to find myself, and through that, I didn't want to feel. And I think the drugs actually took away any kind of feeling that I would have, because I didn't want to go through that. It was just too much all at one time.
Beverly had left, and I'd lost my Air Force career. After 14 years, it was gone, and I had no idea. That roadmap of life was nowhere to be seen, that I'd planned so well before. It was just gone. And the only thing that made sense was to stay drunk, which I did.
So what was the easy thing to do at the time? Well, to do drugs, and you didn't have to feel. It's exactly where I needed to be, and it's exactly what I needed, and I thank God for it.
And I believe my dad knew somebody at the O'Brien house, or knew a friend who suggested, why don't you let him try there?
It just all started coming together for me and making sense. It wasn't just me that was going through all of these things.
They did the best they could for me. They let me go through it. They loved me enough to let me go through it, and that is tough.
I don't ever want to come through this again. I want to get the full fulfillment here, and it's happening. If it's the O'Brien house right here in Baton Rouge, this is where I'll be. I'm given this second chance. I have some youth left. I'd like to say I still feel very young.
I've been working in a really good company. I work for a great boss, very understanding boss. In about 3 weeks, I will be seeing Jeannie for the first time in 3 years.
The world is mine. Once I get to know myself, look out. I'm excited about my future. I couldn't say that a few months ago at all. I don't think I could have lifted anything positive out. But now there's several things that I'm looking forward to.
In addiction, you have no hope. O'Brien House gives you hope. To give you hope.
Since 1971, O'Brien House has given hope to more than 8,000 people.